Yeah, I just, I felt that Josh and Kobe both had 3 fouls, and I was concerned about starting them both together and both of those guys picking up their fourth there. And, Io, I think, had done a good job pushing the ball, though we could sub Josh back in for Kobe, but then Io picked up 2 fouls right away. So our backcourt was in foul trouble. I was trying to separate those guys a little bit. My concern was if those 2 guys started and both those guys got 4, I'm taking 2 guards off the floor. So it was just a way to stagger them just because Io didn't have fouls.
Not to zoom in too much on Josh, and we'll broaden this out later, but that's the 4th straight game that he hasn't closed. Yeah, obviously he was in for the inbounds play in New York. Mm-hmm. Is that a concern as an organization that he's not playing in the closing lineups?
I don't know if it's a concern. I think Josh is a good player. Tonight probably wasn't one of his better games that he's played. I get that. It was, I think, between the fouls and probably not finding a rhythm, being yanked in and out of the game, quite honestly, because of the fouls. I think it probably broke it. I think the same thing happened to Kobe a little bit in that first half. He had to sit a long period of time. So, the fouls were probably disruptive. It was a decision I made, just in terms of, having Alonzo out and making sure that the most experienced guys in our backcourt, weren't going to be bench-ridden too much, So, listen, I think in certain situations, Josh may close. In certain situations like the New York one, he hasn't. And I've said before, we got to use all of our guys. And, clearly the matchup for us with Garland and Mitchell's tough, so we're trying to find the best matchups we can. We try to trap and blitz and do some different things. But, yeah, I mean, I got confidence in Josh. I think Josh, I'm not opposed to him closing, but sometimes I'm just going with the lineup that I think is best at that moment in time.
Sure. To follow up on that, just kind of how do you adjust defensively when you see another team kind of zoning in on one player the way that they were on Josh tonight?
Yeah, I think, we can. I think Joe had asked about this. Like, we've got to become experts in coverage, and we've got to be able, and Josh in particular has got to be able to show better, in certain actions to keep matchups. He did a good job late, I think, in the second quarter. Maybe it was the second quarter because he was out of the game. Maybe it was the third quarter. He did a really good job showing. The other thing, too, is the guard on the ball has got to do a better job getting in front of the ball, because sometimes you may show, and our guy that's supposed to get under and through doesn't. Josh is out there, and now he's having to take it, right? So that's clearly happening. They're doing that, but we've got to be able to work together. It's not all on Josh. Certainly they're bringing him up there in those situations, but when there's 2 players coming to the ball or involved in action together, it's the responsibility of both guys to do, the job together, and it's a team effort there a little bit, and I didn't think that we did a great job collectively as a team in that situation.
And just kind of following up on that defensively, what did you see from that first quarter, 49 points on the offensive end for the Cavs?
Well, the problem was, I think to start the game, they were 12 for 12 in the paint at the rim.
Yep.
Like, that was a major problem. And I got it that they got going a little bit, but the three-point line wasn't that big of a deal, even though they shot a high percentage. I think we were right there in makes. I mean, both teams shot it fairly well. The difference in the first quarter was the rim. You can't give up threes and the rim, and that's what was happening. I thought as the game went on, we did a little bit better job of that going into the second quarter, but the rim was a major problem, and we didn't have guys pulled over. A couple times we came up too high, and the ball got thrown over our head. The defense is going to be a challenge. I said that from the beginning of the year. We've got to be better, and we as a staff have got to help these guys, more and more to be able to execute it better. But I also think, too, like, the defense definitely, was a challenge. But, like, the turnovers to me are just crazy. They're just crazy, And I don't know, we had 13 or 14 in the second half. It had such a clean first half. And I got it. They had an unbelievable quarter. They go 12 for 12. We tried to make some adjustments. I thought we closed the second quarter out. But we start the third quarter with 4 straight fouls and 3 straight turnovers. Like, we're not giving ourselves a chance against a team that clearly, I mentioned before the game, maybe playing right now as good as anybody in the league. They're 14-0. They're the only undefeated team. So you're just not going to win doing that. We've got situations. We got guys like legitimately like open down the floor with nobody, and we can't even execute the pass down the floor. Like, we've got to be able to take care of the ball better collectively. It's not one guy. It's all of us, and we've just got to be better there. So I think to the rim and the turnovers, that was a problem.
Billy, it seems like whenever people talk about the game's elite, Donovan Mitchell doesn't get talked about. But every time I see him, he looks pretty damn elite.
Yep.
That fourth quarter, I mean, he just didn't really seem, whatever coverage you threw at him, when he's on like that, it's just tough to.
Yeah, no, he's great, but like there was a couple times, Joe, and it wasn't his fault, but like we're trapping him, and we're running out of the corner. Like that's not where we trap across the trap. Like we didn't do it. There was pick and roll coverage.
That coverage is against.
Yeah, I mean, like we don't do that. Like we don't, and again, that play or that shot did not lose us the game.
Yeah.
But when you have turnovers, you have coverage breakdowns, you're giving up 12 for 12 at the rim. Like these things all add up, and our margin for error is not of such that we can have so many things like that and expect to pull out games against a really, really elite team. To your point, I agree. I think he's a terrific player. He's a competitor. He can get it off anytime he wants to, against anybody, anytime. And like, Zach's on an island like that. We got to help the guy out. Like someone's got to run from the right area to get the ball in his hands. And, we missed those opportunities at times.
Bill, I know this game's about winning, this league's about winning, but through 13 games, you guys have 30 or more assists in 7 of the 13 games, and you have 30 or 20 or more three-pointers in 3 of the 13 games. That commitment to style of play, are you pleased with that?
I'm really happy with our guys. That's why I'm so disappointed, because
Yeah.
our guys are putting so much into it. You know what I mean? And I love the way we're trying to play. I love the commitment they're making physically to the game. I think a lot of times when you walk off the court and you exert the energy and the effort that our guys had exerted, you want somebody to beat you. And I'm not sitting there saying that they wouldn't have won the game, but certainly we contributed to that.
Right.
But I'm really, I love the way these guys are trying to play. I love the way they're sharing the ball. I love the way they're trying to push up the floor. I love over whatever it was, 13, 14 games, we're maintaining the pace. We're playing fast. We're generating good shots. We're moving the ball. We need to help each other more on defense. But, I really like the way we're trying to play, and they've been totally committed to it, and they've done a good job. And it's been everybody, and I think as a coach, my frustration is more for them. You know what I mean? Because it's not like anybody's trying to turn the ball over, or anybody's trying to blow the coverage at all. They're great guys, and I love working with them. But as a coach, you want to see them, get rewarded for their labor and how hard they're working. And when you're doing things that are taken away from the work, they got to get. We've got to get it corrected. All of us, coaches and players, we all got to get it corrected and help. But I love what we're trying to do and the way we're trying to play. I really do.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks a lot.
Okay. Yep. Thank you.